Okay, guys, it's Thor Sandalwood today, and it's April 27th, 2021, and it looks like the cryptocurrency markets are they're going up again. Even though we had last week, we had that I believe it was on Friday, we had those big losses with cryptocurrencies, but now they're going back up again, and that's what I keep seeing, guys. That these cryptocurrencies, that's the way to go. This cryptocurrency, Litecoin, the one that I'm talking about today, has got me really excited. Excited to the point of where I almost feel like, because I'm doing these videos for free, that this is the type of content I'm going to have on Patreon later on when I develop my Patreon account. Because this kind of information is going to make you a lot of money, okay? And with Litecoin, this is one of those assets, just like I felt like about Ethereum. I feel like Litecoin is the one that's going to make you a boatload of money, essentially, okay? You're going to have to time it right, but I do see this Litecoin as really like the digital silver, guys, and then I got a silver coin there. But Litecoin is like the digital silver. You guys, before we go on with the reading, we're going to go after, have a quick disclaimer, which I do at the beginning of all my cryptocurrency videos. And of course, you know, this is not meant to replace the advice from a qualified financial planner. I use the sidereal zodiac, not the Western tropical zodiac. These are my predictions alone, videos for entertainment purposes only, okay? I like kind of going over that stuff at the beginning, so I know you guys bear with me as we go through some of this stuff. Basically, guys, if you're new to this, and I know the people in the chat, they're not new to this, but what I'm using when I'm looking at these charts of, of companies and of cryptocurrencies, I use a birth chart. And in Vedic astrology, which is the astrology I use, those birth chart is the karmic blueprint. You know, when you're born, the planets and the stars, their location is the karmic blueprint of how your life is going to unfold. So that's all I'm doing. Usually I do these readings for people, but I'm doing this for, you know, a cryptocurrency when that was born. So real quick, guys, the ancient science of astrology is known as the science of light. It's the blueprint of karma. The planets and stars are the keepers of the Akashic records. They are the radio transmitters of our karma. Everything has karma. And that's only for you, those of you guys that you guys come across this video and you're wondering, like, what's this, an astrologer talking about cryptocurrency? This is so weird. And it is. It is kind of a little weird, but I have this passion in astrology, and then when I started researching cryptocurrencies, wow, there's two things that I can just merge together. That's pretty awesome. And guys, you guys can always help me out by liking and subscribing to my videos. And my goal is to hit 1,000 subscribers, and my mission is to spread the knowledge of the ancient astrology to the modern world and show modern applications. If you're interested in your own reading, please email me at thor.sandalwood@gmail.com. My website is very close to coming online. So basically, I'm just going to have my website in the near future. And that's going to be actually where you're able to pay. There's going to show you guys all the packages that I have. A 30-minute reading, a 60-minute reading. It'll show you the prices. And you'll be able to even pay on my website. But for the meantime, just email me and I'll send you guys that information. Because we're still really a growing astrology business here. Now, let's go talk about also one more thing, guys. And if you're watching this video after, after it was live streamed, comment down below, guys, and let me know what you guys think about, is Litecoin going to be really big, or is this it? It's going to fizzle out from now on. Let me know what you guys think. Okay, guys, so let's look at the Litecoin chart. Now, I mean, initially when I was thinking of Litecoin, I was thinking, just the name Litecoin, like, light. Like, I was thinking, it's probably no big deal. It's just kind of like the little brother of Bitcoin. And you know, people have been saying Bitcoin is like digital gold and Litecoin is like digital silver. And so I really had no preconceived notions when I looked at this chart. But when I saw this chart, and I was like amazed at the amount of planetary yogas in this chart, guys. I mean, we have a Vishnu yoga. We have a Sarasvati yoga. We have a Lakshmi yoga. So we have all these super powerful yogas. The Lakshmi yoga is what's in Bill Gates' chart. That's in the Litecoin chart that I'm about to show you guys. Let's take a look. So Litecoin is obviously it's a Capricorn ascendant. Oh, I didn't give you guys the date of birth, but no problem, guys. Let's take a look at the actual chart. There's the Litecoin chart, guys. And so right away, we see, you know, it's a Capricorn ascendant. Finally, we have a different ascendant for once. The last few videos I did, they were all Gemini ascendants over here. But we got a Capricorn. We got a different ascendant here. So anyways, guys, I mean, the first thing that you notice is, you know, the ruling planet is going to be Saturn over here. And Saturn is in the 9th house, which is considered a very auspicious house. In Vedic astrology, you have these houses that are called the trine houses. The trine houses are like the very auspicious, very fortunate, kind of good luck houses. And your trine houses are going to be 1, 5, and 9. Those 3 houses are going to be your trines. So anytime you have a planet in a trine, it's always considered very auspicious. Okay. The only thing that's not so great about Saturn in this chart is obviously it's combust because it's very close to the sun right there. So it's being harmed a little bit, but then when I look at the overall chart, it's still a very strong chart. We look at Capricorn. We look at the moon is in Capricorn right there. That's the 7th lord right here. So the 7th lord is in the 1st house. You guys can see that right there. You know, that right away it tells me that this, and we'll switch this out. Right away with the 7th lord being in the 1st house. Litecoin is all about businesses. 7th house is traditionally the house of marriage. But when we're looking at, especially when we're looking at cryptocurrencies, I think of 7th house as more of business contracts and business partnerships. And that's what we're going to see Litecoin mostly. Its identity is about its business applications and its business relationships. That's the identity of Litecoin based on the astrology chart I see. And so also, guys, real quick, show you the chart. I can show you guys another yoga, which I didn't even write about. Right here, if you guys notice, Jupiter is in the 4th house. So if you guys see 1, 2, 3, and 4. Whenever Jupiter is located in a angle, and remember, guys, the angle houses are going to be 1, 4, 7, and 10. If Jupiter's in 1, 4, 7, or 10 from your moon, that's going to create the elephant lion yoga, which is a yoga that's considered very auspicious. And that yoga had like, you'll be like an administrator of a township or a town or a municipality. So it's kind of a yoga where you'll become an important person. But we're looking at, of course, a cryptocurrency. So, I mean, having the elephant lion yoga, really good thing. And let me clean up the chart a little bit, guys. I'm going to try to clean these up more before we write all over them. And what I really wanted to focus on is not the overall chart, but I wanted to really show you guys these yogas. Because these yogas, when you have a chart that has very powerful yogas in it, and a lot of these yogas are just in the chart, they're not dasha dependent. Now, some yogas are activated when you're in the dasha of the planet that the yoga belongs to, okay? But these dashas are just inherent in the chart. So, and I see a lot of grace right here. So let's go back to the presentation real fast, guys. And Right, there's one called Srinatha Yoga. It's Venus, the ninth lord, Mercury, and angles or trines in own friendly or exaltation signs. Very auspicious. And this is the one that I told you guys. This Srinatha Yoga it's the one where it's basically representative of Lord Vishnu and Lakshmi. Like it's together, and it's considered a very, very auspicious yoga. And we can look at that using the chart here. Srinatha Yoga. Let's take a look. So we have Venus, the ninth lord, Mercury in angles or trines. So we see right here, guys. Let me make sure you guys are seeing that. Venus right here, it's in an angle, the 10th house. Okay. And then you got Mercury. Mercury is in there, the 9th house. That's a trine. And then we got the ninth lord. The ninth lord is going to be Mercury again. So it's in trines, and it's in their own or friendly signs. So Venus is going to be in Libra right here. That's its own house. Mercury, it's exalted and its own house in Virgo. So that creates the Srinatha Yoga. Okay. Very powerful yoga. And Cash, I see your question. What if Jupiter and Moon in same house? I'll have to look at that, but I think as long as it's in an angle house from the Moon, which the first house would be an angle, I'll have to look into that though. I think that creates the Elephant Lion Yoga. A lot of people have that yoga since, it's in an angle from the Moon. So there's a lot of people, I think like a quarter of the population has Elephant Lion Yoga. Let's take a look at this next yoga, which I saw in Litecoin's chart. I almost forget now. Now that I'm doing so many of these videos on different cryptocurrencies, sometimes I'm even getting mixed up while I'm talking to you guys about Litecoin or Ethereum, but we're focused on Litecoin right now. Let's go to the next one, guys. I'm going to go back to the presentation, is the Sarasvati Yoga. And Saraswati she's the goddess of learning, of poetry, of basically education and the arts. And but I still looked up the yoga, and it's still very beneficial on a physical artha, or a monetary level. This yoga again is a very important yoga. So let's take a look at Sarasvati Yoga. We'll go back to the chart real quick. And right there, guys, it's Mercury, Jupiter, and Venus. So Mercury, Jupiter. Let me make sure I have you guys there. Mercury, Jupiter, and Venus. All right. In an angle trine or second house. So we got Jupiter, it's in an angle, the 4th house. Venus in an angle, 10th house. Mercury in a trine, the 9th house, okay? And they're in their own exaltation or friendly Rashi. Okay, Jupiter, it's in a friendly sign because it's Aries, okay? Venus in its own sign of Libra. And again, Mercury's in its exaltation sign. So that, my friends, that's the Sarasvati Yoga. And, I haven't seen a lot of these yogas for the other cryptocurrencies that I've been looking at. So when I saw this, and it was like, boom, like it was just so much in your face of how strong this cryptocurrency is. And let me clean up the chart just a little bit for you guys. We're going to look at one more yoga. The next yoga we're going to look at is we're going to go back to I'm going to cut back here. The next yoga we're going to look at is the Lakshmi Yoga. And this one is the one I told you guys that was in Bill Gates' chart. Would Saturn's placing in the 9th house be a bad match for a debilitated Saturn in the 9th person? EP, let me think about that for a minute. I'm going to get back to your question. But let me finish up with this Lakshmi Yoga real fast. And then we can think about with Saturn. It also depends, EP, before I go to that, it depends, EP, what is your Lagna? What is your rising sign? because we need to know, is Saturn a negative, or is it a negative or a positive planet for your sign? When I'm doing Litecoin's chart, the reason why Saturn is considered somewhat auspicious for Capricorn is because the chart of Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. Let's go back to the presentation, guys. We got Lakshmi Yoga there, the ninth lord and Venus in its own exaltation, Razi, and an angle or trine. And that one was very simple. I mean, that one's actually a more simple yoga if we look at it. So we got Lakshmi Yoga here, ninth lord and Venus. We got the ninth lord in its exaltation sign of Virgo, ninth house. And we got Venus in its own Rashi, Venus right here, in its own Rashi of Libra. And we got 10th house, 9th house. Anytime you have those mixed, you got the angle, 10th house, with the trine, 9th house, boom. That's Lakshmi Yoga right there. And let me switch over. And anytime, you have the goddess Lakshmi involved in your chart, this is like mega auspicious for money, okay? Like that's why I'm hoping I'm hoping I become a crypto expert. But with goddess Lakshmi in this chart, this one is like, that's why I just immediately was like, oh my gosh, this chart. And then we're gonna look at the dasha that Litecoin is currently running, guys. And I will tell you guys, Litecoin, I believe it's very undervalued right now. Even though it's part of this bull run, if you go back to 2017, the price of Litecoin got to $400 back in 2017. It hasn't even hit $400 during this current bull run. I think it's totally undervalued. I think it's a totally good buy. I believe that this thing is going to get huge. It's going to be like Bitcoin. All right. What's a trine? Oh, Cash. A trine is going to be, the houses are 1, 5, and 9. Those are considered the trine houses, or the fortune houses, or the houses of God's grace in a chart. So let's go back to the presentation really quick, guys, because now we're going to talk about the Mahadashas of Litecoin. And we're going to see that Litecoin entered Rahu Mahadasha November 16th, 2016. And it's going to be there till 2034. After entering Rahu, there was a dramatic increase of price of Litecoin in 1 year, December 2017. Rahu in 11th house is good for gains, investments, money, earnings, etc. This demonstrated the potential of Rahu in the 11th house. So let's go back to the dashas real quick, guys. And if you want to see, every one of you guys, and I'm going to go on a side rant, every one of you guys right now that are watching this, you guys are in a dasha of your own. And that is the most important thing when we're looking at what's happening in your life. Even more important than the transits is what Mahadasha and Bhukti you're currently in. That is the most important thing about what is lording over your life at the moment. What karma is ripening in your life. Because whatever Mahadasha or Bhukti you are in, that planet is basically in charge of all your karma at that moment. So let's go back to LTC Dasha, okay? And let's go, let me show, so we know right there, guys, Rahu right there, you can see Rahu. And in this Rahu, it's a long time. It's all the way till 2034 that it's in Rahu till. So we're going to go back to that. But let me go back to the chart to show you guys where Rahu is. Because first of all, we're going to look at where Rahu is. And then what is Rahu, or what's influencing. Let's go back to the chart here. And you guys, like right there, you see Rahu right there. 11th house. Remember the money houses. Money houses are going to be 2nd house and 11th house. Typically, those are your there's way more to a chart than just, but look at that. We got Rahu right there, right where I would want Rahu, to be honest. Like if I was wanting to see a chart with a lot of money, I would be like, I want Rahu either in the 2nd house or the 11th house. I want to see Rahu making a lot of money. And that's where Rahu is. And that's the thing. The Rahu right now, that's the karma that's around Litecoin. So it goes into this Rahu Dasha. Within a year, the price of Litecoin went to $400. I think currently, as of this video, April 27, 2021, I think the price of Litecoin today was like $263. So I think it's tremendously undervalued. Let's go back. So 11th house. Now we're going to take a look at, I'm going to go back to the presentation, guys. Let me show you guys the chart for the presentation. And this is Litecoin right now, guys, if you can see. As you see back in 2017, you see where it was hitting that bull run. This chart is from goldprice.com, by the way. And then right now it's in this current bull run. It hasn't even gotten to the 2017 point of the bull run. You see how it still hasn't even hit the previous point? So that's why I'm so excited about Litecoin. And then right now, LTC entered Rahu Jupiter July 31st, 2019, December 23rd, 2021. So this Rahu Jupiter period that Litecoin is currently in, it's not the best bukti, to be honest. That's why I think, and I'll show you guys in just a moment, Jupiter is not, oh, I see. Jupiter is not even that auspicious of a planet for Litecoin. And it's already on this bull run. You know, it's gaining in its price. And I'll show you what, let me go back to the dashas here. And we'll see that right here is when it entered Rahu Jupiter. Okay? But let me tell you guys what, when it enters this Rahu Saturn period, that's going to be when a lot of money is going to be made. At the end of 2021, beginning of 2022, I think people are going to make big money on Litecoin. So that's my prediction, okay, guys? But I'm going to explain that in my overall analysis in just a minute. But let's take a look at, so it's running Rahu Jupiter right now, okay? And if you look at, let me switch back to the chart. You know, Jupiter's not the best planet, even though, yeah, it does form that yoga I told you guys about. I mean, Jupiter, it's Lord of the 12th house. The 3rd house is considered somewhat of a cruel house in a chart. And then we have, if we count how many houses, because when we look at a dasha, we can also count how many houses is Jupiter from Rahu. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this angle is a 6th angle, okay? It's usually not very auspicious when you're running a dasha to be running the next planet is 6 houses from the Mahadasha you're running, okay? And then I'm thinking, it's not, you know, Jupiter's the 3rd lord, it's the 12th lord, 12th house is a Dashtana house. We know that's a house of losses and endings. And then it being 6 houses from Rahu, I'm not considering Jupiter an auspicious planet. But look, it's still benefiting from being in Rahu Mahadasha overall. Just because you enter a bhukti doesn't mean that you leave the whole Mahadasha that you're in. So it's still benefiting from that Rahu in the 11th house. That's why I think the next bhukti it enters when it enters Saturn is going to be big money. And let me clean up the chart again. I'm writing all over these things. And let's take a look at the next slide here. Okay, this is, guys, right here. Big money, Rahu Saturn. Okay? And it's going to enter Rahu Saturn December 23rd, 2021 through October 29th, 2024. Saturn is 11 houses from Rahu. Saturn rules the 1st and 2nd houses. Saturn is not bad planet for Capricorn. I believe this period will have big payouts on those who hold Litecoin. And I mean, again, we can go look at the chart one more time. Let's take a look. So we got, you know, Saturn is in the 9th house, a trine, remember? And then it's Lord of the 1st house and the 2nd house. Those houses are not bad houses. Remember, the evil houses are going to be 6, 8, and 12. Those are the evil houses. So Saturn is... So it's also... When people think of Saturn, they think Saturn is bad. Saturn is like the boogeyman. Now, for someone like with my ascendant, I'm a Leo, Saturn is actually pretty bad. It's an enemy of the sun, and also, you know, Saturn rules my 6th house, which is not good. But for Capricorn, it's his ruling planet. It's a good planet. So again, it's going to enter this. Let me just put that in case you guys want to take notes. It's going to enter this Rahu-Saturn period, December 23rd, 2021 to October 2024. And we can go back to the chart here. And with Rahu here, I mean, look, Saturn is 11 houses away, which makes it pretty good. 11 houses, the angle. Cash. So is Saturn is in 12th house, is it good or bad? It just depends. It depends so much on your, oops, let me go back to the camera, guys. You know, so much of astrology depends on what ascendant you have. So, like in Donald Trump's case, Donald Trump he's a Leo. Saturn is the 6th lord. It's in the 12th house. And during this Saturn period, you know, Donald Trump lost the 2nd term. He didn't win. And that shows you how much these Dashtanas and what the planet. So it depends, Cash, what your ascendant is. Because Saturn is not a bad planet for everybody. And let's go take a look. Malefic plus malefic equals good. Yes. Okay, so if you have... Yes, generally a malefic plus a malefic is good. For example, in Donald Trump's chart, Saturn is the 6th lord, and it's in the 12th house. And it forms a Viparit Raja Yoga. Okay, so generally, yeah, Saturn in the 12th house will be pretty good because what Saturn does, and this is as a Karaka of Saturn. Saturn is the planet that restricts, delays, and stops things. Okay, so if Saturn's in the 12th house, it's delaying, stopping, and preventing the losses and the endings that are of the 12th house. So yes, generally a malefic planet in a malefic house is good in a general way, yes. Let's take a look. And I know you guys that probably sold all your Litecoin, you guys are probably going, dang it, why did I just sell all my Litecoin? Because I know that's probably what you guys are thinking. So let's switch over. Guys, we're going to cover some of the transits. Let's see how long I've been live for. Wow, almost 30 minutes. We're going to cover some of the transits really quick. Actually, you know, I'm just going to use the chart, okay? Or actually, no, we're going to go back because I'm going to give you dates on this, okay? So let's go back to the presentation real quick. You guys remember that Rahu's transiting Taurus right now? And we're going to, so Rahu's been transiting Taurus since September 22nd, 2020 through April 12th, 2022. Well, remember with Ethereum and some of the other cryptocurrencies, Ethereum, Theta, and some of those cryptocurrencies, and Cardano, it's transiting the 12th house of Taurus in their chart. But with Litecoin, it's transiting the 5th house, which is a very auspicious house. This is karmic time for Litecoin. Rahu's crossing over Ketu, one of the karmic nodes. However, must be aware of potential asset bubble popping, Kritika, September 2021. I think it should still be held until later, though. Don't fear. So we're in this time, guys. There's this bull run happening right now. And we know that, you know, there's a potential that the last quarter of 2021, there might be some sort of asset bubble pop or something. With Litecoin, I'm so confident that I think that even if the asset bubble pops, I think if you hold on to it, if you sell it, like, you should probably just hold on to it, because I think it's going to go even bigger in a few years, in 1 or 2 years. I think it's going to go bigger. You know, the asset bubble pop might be the time to buy more Litecoin. Saturn transit we have. That's the next one. It's transiting through first house right now. This is not a bad transit for Litecoin. For a person, this would signal Sati Sati, but Litecoin is not a person with emotions. Remember that. This will strengthen the identity. So normally, like in a person's chart, if Saturn is crossing over your moon in your chart, it's considered very, like, a bad luck, very bad period. And it's typically, it's bad for your emotional state, because Saturn tends to restrict the your emotional nutrient that you're receiving from the astral realm. You're actually, in a way, you're receiving like downloads from the universe even as you go through life based on your karma. And when Saturn is crossing over your moon, it's considered like Sati Sati. With Litecoin, you know, it's a cryptocurrency, so it's not like there's an emotional issue there. And let's go to the Jupiter transit. I wanted to guys speak on that. You guys remember Jupiter entered Aquarius April 6th, 2021, and will be there April 13th through 2022. It will transit second house of Aquarius for Litecoin. This is really good for money. Price could drop during the Jupiter retrograde. Great buying opportunity. So guys, from June to October, Jupiter is going to start going retrograde. It's going to start going backwards. That's when, and this is during that period, is when we could see prices drop, especially when I'm looking at Litecoin, because Jupiter is transiting the second house. We could see a price drop around that time. But then I think when Jupiter starts going forward again, you know, and it enters that Rahu-Saturn period at the beginning of 2022, I think Litecoin is just going to be going, I think it's way undervalued. I think it's going to go way over 400 like last time. I personally would buy more Litecoin. Right now even, I would buy it. And that's my personal opinion, guys, my interpretation. Always seek the advice of a personal financial planner. All right, guys. And let me give you guys my final analysis of this. My belief is that Litecoin is currently undervalued. It should be way higher. And it's going to go higher. It really is the digital silver. The price may drop during Jupiter retrograde. This is the buying opportunity. I see huge gains by 2022. So yeah, I mean, and that's pretty much the Litecoin presentation, guys. So Litecoin, I think, even if we have the big market drop, let's say the asset bubble pops, there's the big market drop. I think it's still like, if you hold on to it another year, another 2 years, that Litecoin is going to be just like 2017, it went up. 2021, it went up, maybe goes down. And then boom, just 2 years later, it's going to go up again. And I think the next parabolic curve is going to go even higher. So I really think that it is like silver. So good time to buy between June and October. I think it's going to be a good time. We need to really still see what Jupiter is going to do when it goes retrograde, but that, because it's retrograding the second house, and even though in astrology a retrograde planet never functions right, so normally if Jupiter was transiting your second house, I would tell you you're going to make a lot of money during that period. But when it goes retrograde, it's kind of like the planet, in my opinion, loses a lot of power when it's retrograde. Is there any questions from anyone in the chat? I know there's probably people thinking like, dang it, why did I sell my Litecoin? I see it going, I mean, I feel like Litecoin is it's gonna go big. Remember, it's got all those yogas. It's got the Lakshmi yoga, guys. That one is the one that got Bill Gates rich. The Lakshmi yoga. Not a lot of people have the Lakshmi yogas. Not a lot. There's only very few people that have Lakshmi yogas. Any questions in the chat for now? I'm excited about Litecoin. Like, I'm totally excited about it. Like, I want to buy some at my first opportunity as I make this April 27, 2021. Let's see if there's anything in the chat. Sold a lot of Litecoin. Yep. Sold a lot of Litecoin. Oh man, I hope you still made some cash out of it though. Cash. Let's see. Let me go back to my software here. Yeah, I hope you still made some money when you sold it, because I know Litecoin, you know, had that. That's what's so crazy about Litecoin right now, is it hit 400 back in 2017, December, and then it hasn't even reached that pinnacle yet. And we saw the same thing with Bitcoin and a lot of these cryptocurrencies. They hit a high point, 101 on conjunction, opposition, sextile. Okay, guys, so the opposition. Okay, so the opposition, sextile, and the conjunctions, those are astrological terms. So, for example, let's go back to the chart and I'll show you guys. Now, a lot of the terminology from Western astrology, like when they're talking about, oh, this planet is opposing this one or squaring this one or sextile and all this stuff, a lot of that stuff comes from Western astrology. In the Vedic astrology, usually a planet aspects a whole house. So that's why I don't talk about degrees a lot. Let's go to the chart and we will put the chart back up. Let me clean it up for a second here. I'm just cleaning up all the stuff I put it on. But like if I was to show you this chart and we're talking about transits right here. If we were talking about, say, the moon right here, well, the moon is it's gonna be opposition is gonna be 7 houses. These planets would be in opposition. So Mars and Moon would be in opposition. It just is what is at the exact opposite end of whatever planet you're talking about. Okay, a conjunction is going to be, let's say that there's a planet transiting right here. Let's say transiting. Remember, this is stationary Mars from the birth chart, but let's say transiting Mars is there, just for argument's sake. Okay, when Mars is transiting the sign of Cancer, it's going to be conjunct natal Mars. So transiting Mars right here would be conjunct natal Mars. That's what a conjunction is. Okay. And then when we look at a sextile, that would be 6 houses from. So remember earlier, guys, when I talked about Rahu right down here, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So Rahu is sextiling Jupiter. And that's actually a bad aspect, at least in Vedic astrology. I actually don't know if the sextile is bad in Western astrology. In Vedic astrology, if a house is 6 houses from. And let me show you guys another thing with these charts, right, really quick. In Vedic astrology, aspects work different in a lot of ways too. Like if we look at the planet Saturn right here, it aspects 1, 2, 3 houses. So that's a Saturn aspect. 4, 5, 6, 7. That's going to be a Saturn aspect. 8, 9, 10. That's going to be a Saturn aspect. So Saturn aspects 3 houses, 7 houses, and 10 houses from it in Vedic astrology. Okay. If we look at the planet Mars, it's going to aspect the planets that are 4 houses from it, 7 houses from it, and 8 houses from it. And that's specific with Vedic astrology. Okay? So in the Western astrology, I know they actually look at they look at a circular looking chart, and they look at if they can draw lines. A trine is going to be, I think, 3 houses, factors of 3. I'll have to look into that more. But usually, that's what they're talking about. Is there any other questions, guys, in the chat? So Litecoin, guys, I think Litecoin is going to be a winner. I think it's going to go big. Let's see if there's anything else in the chat. Thank you guys for coming. I really appreciate you guys coming to this live stream and seeing some people in the chat. It really gives me a lot of feedback, on that people are finding this very beneficial for them. See if there's any more questions. Yeah, made money, but like always, the cryptos always go after. Yeah, I know. You know, this digital asset thing, it's just, this is such the way of the future. And it's just, even if we see a drop, if we see a drop, you know, even if this asset bubble pops, there might be some cryptocurrencies. Now, I'm going to say it right now. There might be some cryptocurrencies that go bye-bye at some point. We know that with history, not everything stays. There'll probably be a few cryptocurrencies that are like the big ones that stick around. And also, we know that there's danger coming with these quantum computers. So we don't know what's going to happen there. Anyways, guys, I think I'm going to call it a presentation today, unless there's any more questions. 41 minutes in. Very successful broadcast. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Again, if you guys are watching this after the fact, comment down below. Tell me what you think of Litecoin. Tell me if I'm dead wrong. Tell me if you think I'm right. And guys, I will see you in the next video. I will be doing another video tomorrow at 7 p.m. Pacific time. That's where I'm located. And I want to say, guys, thank you for coming. Namaste. And I'll see you guys in the next one.